Why I like romance anime, or specifically why I like certain romance anime, is a question that I quite often get asked, especially when it comes to my tastes. While not my genre of choice to watch, some of my all-time favorite shows have at least some of these elements. What I like might not be to your particular taste in romance, since you possibly enjoy something that's a little more gritty, or seeing yourself in the perfection of a high school character that you strongly resonate with. On the contrary, I like my Cantonese cave paintings where they cut out the fat that is the "Will Senpai notice me?" arc. A series where they cut to the chase and get over the juvenile, blushing, and trivial misunderstandings. Instead, they focus on the substance, the mechanics of the relationship, and what I, or the character, need to do in order to maintain it. When you're in high school, everything seems new to you. Relationships, a newfound sense of independence, and the fact that you're going to be legally allowed to drink, vote, and drive in a few years puts a teenager's perspective into a fantasy. I know I was in that phase. It's an uncertain point where it all becomes natural for us to do some stupid things that echo strongly in most anime romances. But I'm no longer that naive teen of 10 years ago who thought that the chances of stumbling upon my future loved one in a hot springs was in the realm of possibility. No. What I want is an anime that doesn't just portray two people in love with one another, but more so the journey that they embark on. I like the process. I like the payoff that it hopefully contains. I like seeing the obstacles that they face from those around them, from their own fears and their own anxieties. I like having my heartstrings pulled and touch on subject matter that doesn't sit comfortably with the typical anime mold, even if they have to sacrifice a tidbit of realism to get there.
牛よ、これはお前が生まれる前のお前が生まれるまでのお話だ。パパとママが最初に話をしたのは高校3年生の時だった。
If you've been following the channel for some time, you will know both Clannad and After Story have had a profound impact on me, not just as an anime fan, but as a person overall. It's an example of two good-hearted characters who get that ending that they deserve, but it's the follow-up series that really sells the whole thing. Anime, I found, has this habit of never bringing any relationship past a certain point, and they usually sadly conclude around the time when the characters start dating. With anime like After Story, you get to see the couple's entire life unfold before your eyes. And it's not focusing on the lovey-dovey aspects, but the real-life dilemmas such as job hunting and societal burdens that I and many people around my age can personally relate to. I guess there's an innate desire to resonate with these stories, because a good romance, in my opinion, has a cast where an ordinary viewer with all of their emotional complexities can even relate to 2D characters conjured from someone's imagination. Anime, like its aesthetic, is a simplified version of reality, and the same is often whittled down in its writing. Being able to project myself onto these characters provides me with the feeling that the people who created said show understand what I've been through. It makes me feel that when they wrote these stories, when they wrote these characters, they had their personal experiences injected into it to make it unique and their own, instead of, just following some shoddy romance template, doing things because that is what is supposed to happen rather than what did happen to them in their lives. I feel like those experiences help to broaden the work as a whole and give a particular kind of depth to the protagonists. It creates a camaraderie that exists between the couple. If they are friends from almost the word go, there is no hemming and hawing about their relationship either. We don't have to wait and spend episode upon episode watching them very slowly realize their feelings. They've already realized them. They just have trouble expressing those emotions, which I'm sure many have been in that situation before. I've always seen emotional attachment as something that's hard fought. It's not easy for some people to put their hearts out there, because doing so can be very vulnerable. So to watch them struggle to do the same thing because of the risk is completely understandable and makes me enjoy watching them. Especially when, from my perspective in the audience, there's really no downside at all, because we know that they are both head over heels for one another, but watching them figure that out is half the enjoyment. I want to be there every step of the way because I feel like one of those friends who stuck it out with them to the very end. Every fault or every internal monologue filled with the dread of things going wrong, every regrettable decision, every retrospect they make from these hurdles, all make up the fibers of what makes a memorable romance anime. Which kind of brings me back to the major criticism that I get for liking these romances over others. While not realistic, they are somewhat idealized, and as such are below being worth the attention. Ha! This is where we'd have to disagree. I don't dispute that these romances definitely stretch the boundaries of reality, but that's precisely why I love watching them. These shows, more often than not, exist in places that are exaggerations of the real world. They have settings, characters, things that can't exist in our reality, but can there. Because whether you like it or not, the 2D realm isn't our world. So what if the pixels on your screen doesn't mimic every moment of daily life? If I wanted that, then why am I watching anime in the first place, instead of the dramas of real life? I watch anime to escape from reality, not to watch a mirrored version of it. Having realistic elements is fine. It helps to make characters and situations and relationships more engaging, but for me, too much of the real can make it boring, predictable, and frustrating. Reality must comply with its guidelines. You know what curveballs life can potentially throw at you, because those laws cannot be broken. Rules in anime can be broken, and when they are done just right, it makes for stories all the better. So it all comes back to the question of why I like romance anime, and I think that the core reason isn't too far off from why we continue to watch these Chinese cartoons in the first place, and that's the ability to connect with the characters. Romance anime, to me, is less about fate and the physicalities, but the steady establishment of an unbreakable bond between two characters as a result of their experiences together. To me, romance anime is about the adventure, where we, the audience, learn little by little what makes the characters special and why they fall for each other to begin with. Your favorite romance anime may very well be different from mine, but chasing the ideal life is something that everyone strives for, or at least should be striving for. We desire to know that some good exists, and at the end of the day, we all want something that can touch our hearts, our lives, and eventually, our significant others. And with that, I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. I hope you are having or planning a special day with your loved ones. Or, if that depresses you, happy Singles Awareness Day, you dastardly otaku basement dwellers. I'd of course like to give thanks to all my patrons who help make videos like these possible, and specifically, I'd like to thank Victor Ekmark, Calhoun Boy, Joshua Garcia, and Siri Yamako for being completely awesome people. And until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and others, stay frosty.